Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. My name is Terry. I am your host, and welcome to Anime Bad Boy.
Check me out, y'all.
Alright, so the fact that you guys are here on my channel, that only means one thing. You don't have a life. But it's okay, I don't have a life either, so we can all be lifeless together. Wait, that's kind of me telling you to go commit suicide. Don't do that. Do not do that at all. Alright, so for today's character breakdown, I'm going to be speaking about Kenpachi Zaraki. He's actually from one of my most favorite animes ever, which is Bleach. But before I continue, if you haven't seen Bleach, you need to go see Bleach right now. You're on the wrong course of life if you haven't seen Bleach. You're going in a downward spiral. If you haven't seen Bleach yet, you're possibly going to die. Alright, so Kenpachi Zaraki, right? He's actually the current captain of the 11th Division in the Guillotine 13. What I love so much about Kenpachi Zaraki is the fact that he's a true-born fighter. Ever since he was small, he was totaling bodies, like he was piling up bodies after bodies. Kenpachi is a name that is actually given to an individual that is considered to have won the most battles, that have considered to spill the most blood. So he is currently holding the 11th title. So before him, there were 10 other people that freaking murdered a shit ton of people in the Soul Society that really weren't acknowledged for as fighters, but you know, he carried the name on and the legacy of what it means to be a Kenpachi. Kenpachi Zaraki himself is great at swordsmanship. He actually showed on many occasions you can actually see that he is amazing swordsman. The only thing is that he's not really good at kendo. Kendo is a short burst of energy that can be enchanted. There's different kinds of kendo. There's different levels of kendo. It goes from like 1 all the way to level 90. The higher it is, the more dangerous and more powerful the kendo is. So the thing is, Kenpachi doesn't really use kendo because he feels like, you know, when you use kendo, it's a sign of weakness. He rather just use pure brutal strength and his sword rather than rely on spiritual blasts to get the job done. I actually, since I've been watching the show, I've never seen Kenpachi use a kendo ever. So I would only say that Kenpachi uses kendo as his last resort, like when he's about to die, when his eyes are about to close, that's when he uses a kendo, and that's when I expect him to use a kendo from how his character is. Kenpachi, he actually has a large reservoir of spiritual energy, so large that actually when he's fighting his opponents, he put an eye patch on that restricts his spiritual energy so he can enjoy the fight longer. In some of the episodes, his lieutenant always tells anyone that's trying to interrupt the battle that leave Kenny alone because Kenny is going to get mad if you stop the fight. Kenny is actually angry. Yeah, they're talking about the fucking crazy Kenpachi Zaraki that's like freaking laughing and getting a hard on from slashing someone and seeing their blood. That's Kenpachi, and this is why I really love his character, because the minute he appears, you already know shit's about to go down. Somebody is gonna die, not me, but somebody is gonna fucking die tonight. All right, Kenpachi is like the guy that you bring to the party, and when you bring that guy, he's like the life of the party, but then you get him like really fucking shit-faced drunk, and then he starts killing everybody. That's Kenpachi. You always want to have that kind of person around, but just not around yourself because you're gonna die too. But you get what I mean. Another good thing about Kenpachi is that he doesn't really have a bankai. So the reason why Captain Zaraki never had a bankai in the beginning is because he never knew the name of his sword. In Bleach, it's very significant that you know the name of your sword because that's how you get the bankai. Captain Zaraki has such a large reservoir of spiritual energy that he never gave thought of learning a bankai. He thought bankai was actually, you know, the trump card of everything. Kenpachi's trump card was his spiritual energy. As I told you guys, he actually fights with an eye patch to limit himself when he goes against opponents. The thing is, the minute he takes off that eye patch, an immense amount of power, or he goes full power in a sense, gets released through his body, and he gets heightened abilities. Some of these abilities is supernatural strength that he already had, which is like ×2. He got enhanced speed, supernatural endurance, and supernatural durability. If you guys can recall when he first fought Ichigo, when Ichigo came up to this guy and said, "Yo, Zaraki, get out of my way. And Zaraki was like, yo, bitch, try. And then Ichigo literally got his sword and rubbed it against Zaraki's skin, and it sounded like you know, if you take a spoon and you slap it against a pan, that's exactly what Ichigo's sword sounded like when it hit Zaraki's skin. I don't know about y'all, but if I ever hit somebody and their skin sound like metal, I'm actually taking my ass home. I'm not even fighting anymore. I'm discouraged. My morality got diminished. Like, I'm gone. Zaraki actually does get a Bankai, but it's actually in the future, which future is now present tense. So I'm referencing to the manga, not the anime. The anime isn't that far yet, but the manga, he actually does get a Bankai for those who haven't seen the episode, the entire series yet. So I recommend you start from episode 1 in the anime, and then once you end the anime itself, which I believe ends at 366, go ahead and continue on from the manga, because in the manga, you'll actually see some very amazing powers that are developed in different characters in Bleach rather than besides Kenpachi Zaraki. But Kenpachi Zaraki is actually one of the most anticipated individuals, because in the beginning, many people are like, okay, what is this Bankai? Is he ever going to show the Bankai? Well, ta-da, in the manga today, present tense, he actually does acquire a Bankai, which is amazing. It's kind of like overpowered a bit, but definitely I love it. So I am going to give Kenpachi Zaraki I would say a 9.7 out of 10. So thank you so much for tuning in to Anime Bad Boy! And the fact that you're here, like I said, you have no life. If you have friends that are like you that don't have no life, why are you guys not sitting at home watching my next video? When's my next video? Well, subscribe, comment, and like to find out. And you know what? Tell the world by sharing this video. Peace.
Check me out.